Brother, what is up, what is up, what is up? Most High. My name's Ever. Welcome. Welcome back to my channel, High Velocity. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Day full of wonders. Alright, brother. Oh man. Okay, no more struggle. Today on this video, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to this Menace. I got the Schumacher Menace. And for y'all that don't know, this is the fastest 110 scale RC Nitro speed truck. Pretty nice. But it doesn't look like this when you get it. Alright? After so many modifications, so many attempts and R&D and a lot of fuel burning, a lot of money spent. Well, not really, but I mean, let me go on. I want to show you what I've done already. I've been trying to do it and do it a long ways, but I had to delete the video. The video's too long. My phone doesn't have the capacity to do an hour edits, and especially with so many edits, because the more I edit, the more memory it needs, and there's a limit. I have a limit. And I apologize for that. I'm working on something so I can get something better and move up to the next level. I want to make this exciting. Having these devices have to have full connectivity with me. So if I'm not seeing the vision that I'm seeing on the screen, it's not doing me right. I'm not impressing myself, because most of the time it's like all my builds is just to impress myself, right? I build it like the way I see it, you know, but that's that. I'll leave that and my expressions and my emotions and my feelings for online, run online. So stay put. It's going to be on Sundays at 12, most likely Sunday 12. I'm going to be sharing and building along the things that I'm going to do on videos with you. If you tune in, I like to see how that goes. I might have an ugly face, but that doesn't mean I have an ugly character or attitude, brother. No. I would really like to help you out if you have any questions about anything you see on my channel, or, you know, relative to nitro engines. I'm going to put this on the table and show you what I geared down and what I geared up, because it's kind of confusing. Let me put this over here and put this somewhere safe. Here's a better look at my Schumacher Menace. I posted this up on Facebook, and you might have seen it, and that's why I'm doing this. I know you want to know what's going on right here, brother. So check this out. Stick around, brother. And there are 3 things I want to show on this video. You might know all 3 of them. That's okay. You know, it's just a reminder. You might not say, I'm wasting my time watching. I'm just playing, brother. No, I don't know why I'm thinking so negative, but you might benefit, brother, because these 3 things, woo, brother, I've been saving and saving and saving so I can buy even more. Oh man. Okay. All right, brother, check it out. I geared down, right? I don't know if you know already how to gear down or gear up. I used to have a 35 tooth spur gear and a 20 tooth clutch belt on my engine, and my shoes, my clutch shoes were going back quick, you know. It was geared up too high, brother. I'm gearing down because on the next video I'm going to launch this thing, show you how it launches. But first I'm going to make sure it launches, and if it's good enough to show that it launches, I'm going to upload the video. If not, I'm going to gear down again and then try again. I went up. I used to have 35. Now I have a 45 on there, and that's good. That should be good. I think it should be good. And for the clutch bell, like I said, I had the 20, and now I'm going with the 16. Not 60. Did I say 60? Oh. I hope that gearing is good. And like I said, if it's not good, try again. But I'm not gonna record this again. Oh, a lot of work had been done. I've been recording and recording. It just doesn't come out right. You know, I can't wait till I get a PC. But for now, I'm gonna stick to this. Alright, brother. Next, the wheels. Oh, brother. I don't know if these wheels are going to break my drive pins more easily. I don't know if that's going to be a case, and I might have to go smaller on the wheels. I do have other slick ones that I bought that they're inexpensive, but I want to try these out. I did try them out. I went out and about a little bit, you know, a little cruise, because it was geared up pretty high. These are the use of just one little run. When I took this out, you know, I remember I put brand new clutch shoes on it, and now they're like fused together. But I'll get to that point right now, brother. Hear me out with these tires. Oh, baby, when these babies they heat up like me, oh, they grip even more. They grip even more. So that's what I'm assuming, because they're pretty sticky right now, and if they get a little bit hotter, they're gonna be stickier, brother. Whoa. I can't wait to see if these pin drives break. And then, will I replace them? No. My thoughts are to make the hole bigger. You know, I think the pins are 2.5s, or I think they're 2mm. But I'm going to go 0.5 millimeter or a whole millimeter. You know, like the size of the Traxxas Fortec. Next thing I'm going to show you is that you can go on eBay and find, if they are still available, of course, you can find a listing of a 30-piece aluminum clutch shoes for 1/8 scale HSP. And keep in mind, it's for an HSP, right? And I still got them, thinking that they were going to fit for Savage, but for some reason they did not. And I'm going to get to the point as soon as I get this out of the way. Let me see if I still need to show you anything from the chassis. No. So let's move this out of the way, back to the vise. So I got this Novarossi tuned by Gimar 28.8. I have these HSB 1/8 scale aluminum clutch shoes that I got off of eBay, and they were $34.99, brother. Free shipping, $34.99. You get 10 packs, right, for 10 changes. I'm thinking they're like $1, right? $1 a clutch shoe. That could be around there approximately. Might not be exact, right? But let's get to this. I already told you about the gearing. I'm going on with the clutch shoes right now. And then next, brother, I'm going to show you how to do the shimmy. Well, what I've discovered how to do it correctly. Well, that's what I believe, right? Because I've been doing it wrong for a long time, brother. I've been doing it wrong. I've been doing it wrong the whole time, brother, with the shimming. You know, and I'll get to that point. But hear me out with these clutch shoes. The way I see it, I'm probably saving money here, because I get 10 changes, right? Integi sells you these $24.99 clutch shoes, and you might say, oh, because they're lighter, oh, because they might have 70-75, and you might be right? But those are even more expensive. But if you get the regular Integis, they're still like $24.99. What I'm thinking is that, well, these clutch shoes, they seem to be very similar, except they have a different shape, you know, right here in the end, cut differently. And Tegi might be buying these same clutch shoes and just, you know, or other companies might just modify them a little bit to look different, you know, from right here. But check it out. What you want is more contact and more meat. That's what you want, right? I geared it up too high, and that might be the case why. These went bad right away. If you notice, when I show you right now, these brand new clutch shoes, because you got enough difference. Gotta be able to see the difference. This is how you get it off the package. Check it out. Can you see this? Shiny. Yeah. Alright, so this is how it comes out of the package. You see the slit or the notch where it is on the clutch shoe? Well, all I do is just increase the deepness of it. Not the wideness, the deepness. Let me get it on view. That way your spring goes deeper. Because if you can tell, I don't know if you can tell right there, the spring is almost flush to the surface of the clutch shoe. And that is not good. You know what that means? That means, oh, I just realized, can you imagine the gearing of those HSP Nitro RCs that you get out the box from eBay? You know, because these are specifically for Nitro HSPs 1/8 scales. So this is a 3-shoe clutch set for those. And I thought they were for a Savage, but they're different. And I'm going to show you why they're different as soon as I get to the shimming part. But let me continue on with this. Yeah, when you increase the deepness of this, if you do this, brother, because you might not find this, you know, worthwhile, but I kind of do. And I want to find out if it is worthwhile in the end, because I'm never going to find out if I don't investigate. Yeah, that's all I do is just increase the deepness of the slit or notch where the spring goes on the clutch shoes. That way I have more meat, and that way I can have a long lasting, longer. But then I'm going to explain also what else you have to do, because that's not it, brother. After you increase the deepness, you're going to have less tension or less spring load on your spring. You know, so it's going to engage on your clutch bell at a lower RPM. That's why many times when your clutch shoes go bad, they start taking off at idle, right? Well, that's what I noticed. So in order for me to be able to bring the spring rate or the tension back, I don't know how to describe that exactly. I make sure where the circle is, I make sure I just put, you know, one in there so it doesn't warp off. And then I grab the end of the spring from one side and the other, and I bring them together and carefully just squeeze them together. And then after that, once I have that cut, I put it on. And I put the smaller one that fits in there, like if it was on the flywheel, to simulate it, so I can make sure it's not too loose. And also I can make sure that the spring follows my cut, because if your spring at the end right here where this notch is, if it's sticking out, it's not going to hurt it much, because the clutch bell is going to force it down. There's going to be room for, but it's still going to scrape, but not as fast and ruin it as fast, you know, if it was already at the bottom of the clutch shoe. And that, of course, it takes a lot of work. But if you do this, let me know, brother, if you think you're going to benefit from this. Or yeah. And next, the most difficult part is putting it on the nut that you use to tie down the flywheel. If you don't have the right one, I mean, I did. It's an HSP one, right? The whole set right here is not from a Savage, just the clutch bell, brother. An HSP one, the end of it, it's concave, or it's coned, like the sleeve, right? Is that what this is called? That goes inside the flywheel. Oh man. Alright. See, this is how it's hexed. The spring on one end right here, on this end, it's on that end, it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be all the way over here, like facing that way, and longer, a little longer. That way it can fold and bend over the edge of the nut, right? Because the other one that's shaped like this, it's easier, and then it has the notch around it where the end of the spring goes. But if you already have an HSP one, you can just do that to your HSP. If you just have an HSP with the 3 shoe, you can just buy that pack. And many of you probably already have it. But if you don't do this, brother, you better do it, because it's just going to save you money. I mean, I used to throw them away. I used to throw them away when they used to get to this point, almost this point, you know. I used to throw them away, I don't know, because maybe I was using them with bad bearings like I have before in the beginning. You gotta always make sure your RC rolls and there's no drag. Not dragging anything along with it. Is that what it's called? Or parasitic loss? I would call it parasitic loss. Alright, brother. This is what I've been doing wrong for a long time until I got this right. I realized, one time, I was like, brother, that's not supposed to be like that. Alright? So, it's been a minute since I've been doing it to all my RC cars, but I haven't got to this one because it's just been on the shelf. So, I got the clutch belt right here of a Savage. All the Savages are the same. There are 5 by 10 by 4, right? The ones that use those size bearings, 5 by 10 by 4, always have this ring inside that holds the outside part of the ring, right? Of the bearing, which is called the outer diameter. So when you put on your bearing, it holds it, right? And when you put the other bearing on the other side, it holds it, right? It holds it. And I always just placed it like this. And I thought that was good. I thought, okay. And then just shim it and just make sure I give a little bit of clearance, you know, a little bit of play. You know, I always thought that was the way you're supposed to do it, you know? And that wasn't the case. I don't think that's the case. I realized that wasn't the case when I saw a spacer inside a brand new clutch shoe pack that I bought. New in pack. I was like, what is that for? Never used it. Never in my mind did it cross that, hey, you gotta put it in there, right? Because it needs to make contact with the inner diameter. So on this video, brother, that's one of the things I wanted to show you, is that I realized that in order for this thing, my bearings to last the time they're supposed to last and not go bad as fast I used to. Check this out. I do my shimming, right? Don't think this is a Savage or an HSP one, because it's in between both of them. It's in between a Savage and an HSP 1/8 scale clutch set. Alright, so I got my first steps right there, right? That you don't have to worry about. But right here, if you got a Savage, right? I got my clutch set, so from that point, you don't have to worry about, brother. From this point on, this is what I want you to see, and what I've been doing wrong this whole time. I kept leaving that space in there I was talking about empty, and it's supposed to have a 5mm shim in it, right? There's supposed to be a shim in between inside, and I never had that, right? And ever since I changed it and I started putting on my other RC cars, I didn't have to change bearings that quick. I'm like, wow. So in your pack, there's a spacer. I have that spacer. I've used one and I have another one, but then this is the third one and I had to make one, right? And I didn't have another spare to put on this one. So I made my own. And I made my own from smaller bearings. The inner diameter of a 5 by 8 by 2.5 bearing, I broke it apart and I took it out. And I kept the inner part of the ring, which is this. After that, I scraped it down on the ground with the homemade tool that I did. And I just scraped it like that on the ground for a while until I got it to the size that I wanted, right? So now I made a spacer where it's going to support and make contact with the spacer I have behind this bearing that I start with and the pilot shaft. So now that I have, and I'm going to have the screw that holds everything in place on the end, it's going to be supported and it's going to make contact with the inner diameter, and also it's going to align and keep everything in place and help out the outer part, the outer diameter, right? So this whole time there was a weak spot, and I kept having and ignoring that weak spot that's in between those two 5 by 10 by 4 millimeter bearings, right? Okay, now ever since I started doing that, I could apply more pressure at the end of the shaft for the inner part of the bearing, right? It's starting to look kind of like a crankshaft, if y'all engine people know what I mean, you know, because everything is connected now. Seems like it, like the bottom, the inner part of everything, you know, that is touching the surface of the pilot shaft, which is the crankshaft, right? So now, when you put it on, you should not go too far. That way you know how high it is. That way you know if you need to remove more. So if you hold the inner diameter of the ring, of the bearing, and you go up and down, you see that play? That's how much space I have in there left. So now it's almost flush, right? Almost flush. Like I can still feel it right there, you know. It's like ideal, like what I was looking for. You know, it's ideally for me, you know. It's like I would call that perfect. So now that I have this, I might be putting the wrong one. Let me try putting this one. Yeah, I was putting the wrong one on, brother. That's why I was like, why is it sticking out more? Alright, brothers. So now, look, check it out. Whoops. That's what I get for mixing these two things that look very identical. Alright, so. You see that? It sticks out a little bit. And after that part, brother, I'm going to put a 1 millimeter thick 5 millimeter shim, right? It's 5 millimeters by 7 and 1 millimeter thick. So I'm gonna put that to create some space so I can put the backup shim, just in case everything fails and it wants to scoot forward. You know, this will hold it back, you know, if the bearings go bad. So I'll put that, and there is space, a little bit of clearance in between the two outer diameters, because it can't, this is fixed, it doesn't rotate like with the clutch belt unless everything is rotating. Is that explained right? I don't know, but check this out. So it can't make contact with the spring that's outside unless it's making contact with the inside, right? That's why I put a shim in there in between the bearing and this the two shim between the bearing. There's that shim, right? That 1mm shim, the little tiny one. So now I put the other one that I was confusing, and it's right there. And if you can see, it sticks out a little bit more, like a hair, smaller than a hair off of the pilot shaft. And then that, from there, once I have the screw on there, here, let me do this. And by the way, I don't use Loctite. I always just make sure I tighten right. Alright. And I use pliers. AZs. Then where's my Allen key? Man. Alright, brother. Okay. Whoop. It's too low. That's good for me because these are used bearings. Right? And leave the play. Like a millimeter. That's like a millimeter. Probably less, but that's good for me. That's perfect. I just can't believe for a really long time I was leaving that space empty. You know, because like I said, it has to make contact. It has to make contact. What has to make contact? This all the way back to the pilot shaft, to the first shim, right? So this all is making contact right now, right? So if the engine is on and running and on idle, the whole inner part is making contact because it's spinning, right? And over here at the dry spot, I mean, it's not that great of a deal for a short term, but it just depends because you always have that weak spot there that you can always reinforce or enforce, or maybe it's supposed to be there. And I've been doing it wrong for a while, but now I've noticed a difference, brother. And let me just say also, I'm glad that my homemade vice or whatever grinder, tabletop grinder, flywheel modification for my Schumacher Menace hasn't broken my shaft. Like the engine is, oh man, like I feel no play anywhere. It's like if it's fused together. Brother, this engine is amazing. There's so much fuel through it. Like the compression. Oh man. Alright, brother. So Novorossi 28.8 is gonna do some launches tomorrow. Not today, because it's getting late. And I have to put on a jacket because it's getting cold, brother. Brother, I appreciate that you watch and that you like. You know, and especially if you comment. You know, nothing but positivity, brother. Shout out to all of you, brother. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to your neighbor if he's burning nitro, brother. Even though I don't know his name, tell him I said, hey, keep on burning nitro out there. Like the bug says. Alright, brother. Brother, we're getting to the end. And if you've been watching to this point, I just want to say I appreciate you watching again. Hope you have a wonderful day or night. Whatever time it is, wherever time it is. Whatever time it is, wherever you are, have a wonderful time. Brother, that's the end of this video, and I hope you got something out of it, beneficial. And for this, whoo, I'm gonna mount back on, button it up, fasten it up. I don't know what to say, but I'm gonna do what it takes for it to hold on for its life. Because this thing was expensive, brother. I don't want this thing to end up in an accident, because we don't want no accidents or incidents, brother. Come on, not yet. I gotta make this thing run, stay alive, and survive out there. Stay posted, brother, because I just want you to see if this thing, could be pretty impressive, off the dead. I don't know how to call it, off launch, off a dead stop, off a drag launch. I don't know, brother. I gotta hit up my brother. I don't know, brother. I really don't know much about drag racing or launches, like a two-stepper or gearing. But I'll tell you this, though. Like, these wheels, they're gonna grip. And in order for me to make them grip and not break this, or grip even more, I'm gonna have to hit up my brother Andre. I don't want to say it. Andre Rico Gonzalez. Is that how you say it, brother? Oh, I couldn't. Oh man, I looked it up and I'm like, how do you say his last name? I just you changed it, brother. It wasn't like that. Rico. All right, brother, you made me say it. But hey, I'm straight as an arrow. Check it out, brother. So I'm gonna bun this up, get this ready for tomorrow, and then post it up ASAP, because I want the world to see what the Menace, watch out for the shadow, what the Menace can do, brother. That's all my curiosity. Right? I hope this doesn't kill a kitty. Alright, brother. Did I get everything? No! Brother, no, because at this point, I think I reached the end of the video. And I just want to say, I hope it's nothing but greatness in your life, brother. Every day. You are wonderful. You are wonderful. Peace.